What's good, chat? What's good, chat? What's good? Of course, I was checking out my goat, bro. What you mean? Of course, I was checking out my goat. Fuck. What the flip am I doing? Let's give the people a couple of moments for them to show up, man. What's good, chat? What's good, chat? That's a huge ass echo, bro. I'm not even finna front on you or nothing like that, bro. That's a huge ass echo. Huge ass echo. Huge ass echo. We live. Let me check if all systems are cool. You know, I must do my job. I must do my job now. Now it's time to log in. No more time to play now. Tyler charged Nasty C 300,000 US dollars for a feature. Yes. That's a lot of cheese.
Surprise!
That's a lot of cheese.
Use your valuables to get a flick.
It's tall ranks till infinity. I used to have
White bread.
Yeah. Tastes like cake, right?
Tastes good, bro.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you Nutella on white bread is crazy. That's a cake.
Even just
Even batter with
Yeah, she tried to hit me with the 300K USD. I said, God damn, man, what the fuck? Block it.
No wonder Rihanna ignored her, man. She's out of her mind.
USD. It's mine.
that.
How much is that? 300 USD. How much is that? $300,000. That's 30, right? How much is that? Yeah, that's 3. That's 3 million, dog. What the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Dollars and rands. How much is that? 30,000. Ah, balite wrong, son. Shit. How did I get that wrong? Shout out, you guys. What's popping? It's your boy FIIENT in Sekasi 1496. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We drop content daily and we go live every single day. I wanted to how much? I wanted to at 300,000. I wrote 30k. Okay, 300,000, 300,000 in rands. It'll figure it out. Shout out, y'all. Be sure to get them subs up. Let's get them subs up. 4 million. God damn, that's close to 5 M's, boy. Close to 5 M's for a Tyler feature, boy. Close to 5 M's, Baba. Make me sing, make me water. 5 meter. Yo, 5 million, boy. Sure. If I'm charging STC. God damn.
Who you woke up smelling like today?
Beyonce?
Nah, I'm joking, chat. That's made up. Super cap.
You haven't started talking like it was the 2000s. You haven't started talking like it was
It's the fucking jacket. I don't know. You should have seen.
Shout out, chat. Be sure to get themselves up. Bro, I think a mosquito bit me or some shit. Shout out, Sean. Thank y'all for joining the show, man. But that's insane. 5 million for a feature. Just for Make Me Sing, Make Me Water feature. Come on, bro. How is Skinny Show Pony became the most overpowered player ever? Why are they saying that about... Why are they saying that about Ronaldo?
So, listen to this clip.
Bonos, who's the best player in the world ever?
For me, the best player in the world ever, Diego Maradona.
Me.
Did you hear how everyone laughed? Yeah, now it seems dumb, but I'm willing to bet that if you were there that day, you would have laughed too. For the longest time, to even insinuate that Ronaldo could go on to become a contender for the greatest of all time seemed like complete sacrilege. The kind of transformation he went through was something never before seen in the sport. It was abrupt, brutal, and at times cruel. Any other teenage sensation would have crumbled at the first obstacle, but thankfully, it all happened to precisely the one kid who could survive
Shout
it.
out, chat. Be sure
I
to get
mean,
them subs
let's
up,
be
man.
real, for a while
Let's
there,
get them subs up if you're new to the channel. Let's also like up the stream, y'all. Why ain't y'all liking up the stream, gang? Let's like up the stream. Let's get them streams like up, man. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. Let's get them likes up.
it did look
Get them
straight
likes
out of a
up.
fairy tale.
Also
Ronaldo
sub
showed
up,
up
gang.
for a friendly against a Man United squad that had been unbeaten all pre-season and somehow tormented their defense to the point that before the final whistle was even blown, he had Roy Keane telling Sir Alex to sign him before he even leaves the stadium. In the blink of an eye, he had become the most expensive teenager in the history of the Premier League. He had been handed the number 7 shirt of George Best, Cantonite David Beckham, and then the cherry on the cake. Just 4 days after signing his contract, he was thrown to the wolves and still played so magnificently that George Best himself said that it was undoubtedly the most exciting debut he'd ever seen, that many have been called a new George Best, but this is the first time it has been a compliment to me. Then, things got real. Sure, 5 matches later, Ronaldo had Ashley Cole doing the splits. Later, he even dared asking Phil Neville to let him take a free kick and proceeded to score his first ever goal in fantastic fashion. But 4 months later, all he had to his name were 2 goal contributions, and the defenders, who once seemed completely hypnotized by his flicks and tricks, now had him figured out, getting rougher and rougher, bullying him out of the ball anytime he tried something fancy. So much so that he began diving and flopping around after every contact, quickly becoming one of the most criticized players in the league, as every pundit began
You already
calling him
know,
a
bro,
show
like,
pony.
Let's not even like, we already know, like Mbappe is the one. He just needs to learn like a couple of things, but like Mbappe is the one. Let's get themselves up.
Anytime he tried something fancy, so much so that he began diving and flopping around after every contact, quickly becoming one of the most criticized players in the league, as every pundit began calling him a show pony, a selfish player with no end product. His aura had vanished. From there on out, like a mere mortal, Ronaldo kept trying to convince Sir Alex he was worthy of a place in the starting 11. After New Year's, the first few assists started coming in. By the last month of the season, still unable to speak English, he managed to collect his first man of the match. But above all, with the Premier League title long gone to Arsenal's Invincibles and having already scored or assisted in almost every single round of the FA Cup, Ronaldo showed up in the final, scoring a bullet header and putting in an incredible display that had Sir Alex himself protesting the FA's decision to hand the Man of the Match award to Van Nistelrooy, as the kid had just saved them from going completely trophyless.
Who would I pick between Mbappe or Salah? I like Salah's playing style. I like Salah's playing style, but this is a hard pick, bro. Salah's also goated in his own right, bro. But I still have to go with Mbappe, gang. I still have to go with Mbappe, bro. Mbappe.
Carrying on with that momentum,
Shout
once at
out,
the
chat.
Euros, Ronaldo would keep going, coming in at halftime with Portugal trailing behind in their opening match, quickly scoring to become the second youngest goal scorer in the history of the tournament, then running it back with an assist in the very next game to force his way into the starting 11, and eventually scoring one and assisting another to beat the Netherlands 2-1, taking Portugal to their first ever final, only to then shockingly lose to Greece. Regardless, even if his performance performance had been enough to convince Europe there really was a world-class player in there, enough to force his way into the team of the tournament and 12th place in the Ballon d'Or. Once the club season restarted, so did the criticism. 27 matches into the year, Ronaldo had a single goal to his name, and even Gary Neville, who at times had defended him, was now putting up the question of whether it was worth it to keep betting on a player who couldn't score, one who could just turn off at times and not even help the team defend. But thankfully, again, the new year would show us the new Ronaldo. By February, as United stepped into one of the toughest matches of the season, with Roy Keane and Vieira squaring up in the tunnel, Arsenal going in front, and Henry himself trying to intimidate Ronaldo as a home fans booed the 19-year-old, no one thought he'd stand a chance. But then, their fullback slammed them into the advertising boards as objects rained down from the stands, and he snapped. 2 minutes later, he had already smacked one in to tie the match, getting up and running towards the stands, shushing the crowd. And 5 minutes after that, he banged in another, running it all back. Suddenly, it was Sir Alex who was subbing him off before things got too heated. And though that day everyone would question how anyone could have such nerve at such a young age, then it became clear Ronaldo had grown tougher, sharper, and more resilient as his numbers exploded, leading him on a streak of 13 goal contributions over 18 matches. But if that was the first season where he approached world-class status, it was also the first where he went trophyless, as despite easily being the best player on the pitch, despite being involved in 7 goals in the 5 matches that led him there, United would lose out on the FA Cup final, jump-starting the toughest year of Ronaldo's life, as every expectation laid on his name quickly turned to worry once again.
Bro, like, have you ever do you know how it feels like, bro, to just have like the weight of the world on your shoulders, dog? Like, do you ever like realize how heavy that shit is, bro? Have you ever felt like imagine, bro, like, and that, like, the higher up you climb, bro, the more like this question is asked. You know what I'm saying? But like the higher up you climb, the more the question is asked, and the more, bro, it's like it's just too much, bro. Like, imagine starting Italian, everybody's just like hoping, dog, that you stay locked in, bro. Like, it's just like my cousins today. My cousin is like, I try to like find some comfort, you know, telling my cousin about some shit. That nigga like, hey yo, bro, go and lock in. I'm like, bro, bro, I'm trying to get some comfort. Like, man, fuck all that shit, dog. Go and lock in. Go and flip and lock in. Bro, I'm like, come on, what are you doing?
Little more than a month after that last match, Ronaldo's father was hospitalized with severe liver and kidney damage, allegedly having struggled with PTSD since his service at the Portuguese colonial wars and having succumbed to alcoholism as a way to numb the pain. Ronaldo tried everything. He even flew him over to London to get him the best medical care money could buy, but it didn't work. By September, his father had passed away, and that completely changed him. Having spent most of the summer locked in the gym away from the cameras, once he stepped back into training, as physio Mike Fallon would say, that year he came back a totally different animal. He came back a man. His body shape was different, his facial features had changed. We just said, wow, he's ready. But really, whereas his body looked more prepared than ever this time, it was his mind that was completely gone. After 2 weeks of mourning, he made it back to camp, and instantly it was clear he had this rage in him that wasn't there before. He went into every challenge desperate to prove he was the best, but every time he ended up overdoing it, losing possession and costing United game after game. In fact, they'd win only 3 out of the first 10 matches following his comeback, with Ronaldo himself struggling to get a single goal. He was obviously emotionally unstable, and quickly things started getting out of hand. That very same month, he'd have Giggs visibly gesturing towards them, telling Sir Alex to bring him off the pitch. Weeks later, he was being brought in by the police over some seriously worrying accusations. By December, he'd be getting berated by Ferguson, who quite literally yelled in his face, "Who the hell do you think you are?" After Ronaldo repeatedly hogged the ball in an away match against Benfica, trying to impress the Portuguese crowd only to fail massively, get subbed off, and end up suspended for giving the crowd the middle finger. By the turn of the year, he'd be getting sent off in the
This guy gives the crowd the middle finger. Ooh, bro, I don't know, like Yo, wait,
the middle of the Manchester derby after completely losing his goal, and 3 days later it all finally blew up, with Van Nistelrooy having enough, stopping in the middle of a practice match to yell at Ronaldo to just cross the ball already, getting into a shouting match and telling him to go crying to his daddy. As you may imagine, the moment Ronaldo heard those words, he charged at him ready to go at it, and all hell broke loose. Van Nistelrooy would eventually apologize, claiming that he was referring to second coach Carlos Queiroz and not actually his dad, but with the media catching wind of the situation, the narrative had been set. Ronaldo had been averaging an horrendous 246 minutes per goal contribution for 5 months now,
That's horrendous,
to everyone's
bro.
eyes.
bro, that's horrendous, dog. Goal contribution 243 minutes. Wait, how many matches is that? 90, 180. 190, 180. So that's basically like he's scoring a goal once, 1 goal per four matches.
Lost it. Even Gary Neville admitted it was to the point I questioned if he had ever had it in him to become a top player. And yet, this still wasn't his lowest point.
Shout out chat, be sure I get them subs up. It's your boy FIENT Dona Sekasi 1496. Let us also like up this stream. Let's also like up.
A bit of a hot streak in February was enough to convince some that the player they had once known was back. He scored his first ever knuckleball against Fulham, then the club's goal of the season a week later, and even helped United secure their only trophy with a goal in the final of the League Cup. But then, once the season ended, Sir Alex was forced to make a choice, so he went ahead and sold Van Nistelrooy to Real Madrid, banking on Ronaldo and Rooney to carry the team to glory, which he'd regret almost instantly. You know the story. At the World Cup, 62 minutes into Portugal versus England, Rooney stomps on Carvalho's private parts. Ronaldo rushes towards the referee, demanding him to be sent off. The two end up getting into it, pushing each other around, and as Rooney is given his marching orders, Ronaldo is spotted winking at the bench. And again, the media comes in blasting, tarnishing Ronaldo's name.
Bro, Ronaldo was cool, dog. Yo, Ronaldo was cold. Like, yo, bro, like, this guy was cold-hearted, bro.
No matter how many times he insisted, he was only winking as a way to tell the bench he had heard their orders to move further up the pitch. It was pointless. Nothing sold more newspapers than another headline declaring him as public enemy number 1. By the end of the World Cup, even FIFA themselves had been led to believe that story was true, going as far as snubbing him out of the Young Player of the Tournament award, giving it to Podolski instead, while claiming Ronaldo lacked the fair play necessary to be worthy of such a prize. Though, as you may imagine, it would be much harder than that to keep his hands away from some silver. Upon returning to Manchester, Ronaldo did consider quitting. In fact, he made it public that he thought he should get out, that he wanted to play in Spain, but Sir Alex would simply...
It's your boy FIENT Dona Sekasi 1496. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We drop content daily and we go live every single day. The album has been delayed, but it will still drop. Hopefully next week the album's gonna drop. I'm looking at next week, but we'll see. Shout out y'all, be sure I get them subs up, man.
Not let him. He told them that what was happening to him had already happened to his predecessor, that they too had tried to kill off David Beckham after his red card at the 1998 World Cup, and that if Beckham had survived that, so could Cristiano, because in his own words, "You're one of the bravest I've ever known. Walking away just isn't like you." In fact, so much was his confidence that he'd succeed. He'd bet him £400 that he could hit 15 league goals that year, even though he had never hit double digits, even though the record for a midfielder had just been established by Frank Lampard at 16. So, it was time to get started. No matter if the boost kept echoing throughout...
Imagine, bro, they're giving you like, not even an ultimatum, they're giving you a challenge that I challenge you to hit 400 pounds, that you're gonna hit 15 goals before the year ends.
Stadium, right on the first match, Ronaldo and Rooney would combine to shut down the rumors and demolish Fulham 5-1. Then, nearly a year after the Benfica incident, Ronaldo would go back to Lisbon and drop a man of the match performance, assisting their only goal and completing 14 dribbles, the second highest tally in the history of the Champions League. Then, in October, he joined the national team to score one of the greatest goals of his career, only to get wrongfully denied yet again. And by November, December that kind of thing would be done. One rocket of a free kick against Portsmouth and a half volley against Everton to be named the league's best player of the month. And when they thought it just couldn't get better, 7 goals and 2 assists over 6 matches in December.
Listen, bro, Ronaldo's the greatest, dog. I don't give a flip what anyone says. This is the guy. Shout out, y'all. Be sure I get them subs up. Let's get them subs up if you're new to the channel. Road to... Yeah, I don't know. We're going to 5K. Road to 5K. Be sure y'all sub up, gang.
Becoming only the 3rd ever to win back-to-back Player of the Month awards. By the first match of February, he was already on 23 goal contributions for the season, and to the greatest taste of Sir Alex Ferguson on 15 league goals. It was only a matter of time until he broke Lampard's record, but before that, being yet to score a goal in the Champions League after 5 years in the competition, Ronaldo had to destroy the rumors that he was a big game bottler, opening his tally with 2 goals against Roma, then another against AC Milan of Maldini and Nesta. And though, unfortunately, a Kaká masterclass would have him get knocked out of the competition regardless, back home, with United...
Hey guys, Kaká was also the shit, John. Yo, Kaká was also the shit, bro.
Risking their place at the top of the league, falling behind 2-0 against Everton, with about 30 minutes left in the game and 3 matches left in the season, Sir Alex would call Ronaldo up from the bench like he was releasing the Kraken. And by the end, he had flipped the result into a 4-2, scoring the very next game as well, to make United Premier League champions. After starting the year as the country's problem child, Ronaldo had managed to bring his tally up to 37 goal contributions, taking every award imaginable, even becoming the youngest since the 70s to be named Player of the Year. But even if he had already won over every one, that was nothing compared to what was about to come. Believe it or not, United started the next season with 3 games without a win, and Ronaldo, well, not only did he not score, but in the 3rd of those matches he was sent off and suspended for another 3. However, this wasn't a disaster. Instead, it was one of the most important moments of his career. Noticing that Ronaldo was working extra hours, already trying to make up for the time he had lost, legendary second coach Rene Meulensteen stayed behind after a training session and asked him what was his biggest goal. Obviously, Ronaldo replied that he wanted to be the best player in the world, so then he told him, "I can help you with that. Right now the weakest side of your game is your attitude, because it affects your decision making. I watched every single one of your goals from last year, and you only scored 23 because you want to score the perfect goal every time. As good as you have become, you play to put yourself in the limelight to say, look at me, top corner again. So I gotta ask you, how many goals do you think you could actually score if you put your mind to it?" Ronaldo replied,
Damn, thought they hit him with another challenge game. This
"Between 30 to 35. So Rene said, "I'm sure you could score 40, so as long as you're suspended, I'm gonna teach you how to become deadly." And for the next 30 days, he hammered Ronaldo with footage from Shearer, Lineker, Solskjaer, Van Nistelrooy, and in his own words, taught him one thing: it doesn't matter how you score, as long as the ball goes in the net. And so, over the 18 matches from his comeback up to New Year's Eve, Ronaldo scored 18 goals. 6 of them, as per usual, were absolute stunners, but 3 had been proper striker finishes coming out of nowhere to tap it in. Another 3 were penalties, and the most important of all, in the space of 3 months, Ronaldo had scored 6 headers, as many as he had over the previous 5 years of his career. To say that it was frightening to watch was the bare minimum. Only 12 days into the new year, Ronaldo had already scored his first ever hat-trick. To start, a free kick under the wall. For the second, a perfect run in the cleanest finish. For the third, he grabbed onto a loose ball, got away from his marker and rifled it in. And somehow, just 3 matches after that, he had already added 5 more goals to his tally, including that free kick against Portsmouth. So suddenly, as the commentator said that everything he touched turned to gold, Ronaldo had already tied his previous season's goal-scoring tally. So he went up to Meulensteen and he told him, "You can do one of 2 things now. You can take your foot off the pedal or push even further." So this...
What the fuck, boy? What the fuck? What the fuck? He's like, okay, dog, you've reached the goal, but what you finna do now? You finna relax, so you finna go harder, gang.
time, it wasn't Van Nistelrooy on the TV, it was Muhammad Ali. It was about mentality, and goddamn, did that work.
Your car too heavy on the pedal? Sell your car to
Shout
We Buy
out,
Cars
Jet.
and get something a little lighter.
It's just a game, Liz. It's just a game.
Starting in March, Ronaldo went on a run of 7 consecutive matches scoring, always coming in whenever they needed him the most. It seemed every goal was either an equalizer or a winner, but among those performances, one stood far above the rest. Against Aston Villa, he put up simply one of the greatest shows in Premier League history. United won 4-0, and Ronaldo scored the opener with a ridiculous back heel, then put in a perfect first-time cross for the second, another outlandish back heel touch to set up the third, and then another assist just as clean for the fourth. As the league season ended, it wasn't that he had broken the goal-scoring record or become the first winger to win the European Golden Boot. It was about timing. Ronaldo's 37 goals and assists had won his team 24 points in a season where they were declared champions over a 2-point margin. It's hard to even put it into words. Almost every single goal was clutch. And in the Champions League, it wasn't much different. Ronaldo scored against almost every single opponent they faced. Even in the final against Chelsea, he was the one to score their only goal. Again, a header. And though in the end, after he missed his penalty, it did take a tad of luck to bring it all together and make United European champions, there were no doubts who had made it all possible. As UEFA ended out their awards, Chelsea took best goalkeeper, best defender, best midfielder, but the best player award went undoubtedly to Ronaldo at 23 years of age, had taken virtually every award available to him, as many started referring to his season as the most dominant in history, one that completely redefined what it even meant to be a winger, and 6 months later...
That's what happens when you're the GOAT, boy. That's what happens when you're the GOAT. Shout out, chat. We're locked in. Shout out, chat. Be sure I get them subs up. What do they mean they ignored Chelsea? I mean, Portugal. Let's watch this video, chat.
There's a moment in every great story where the
Be sure I get them subs up, chat. We're locked in.
ending feels written. Where the world looks at a man and says, that's it, it's over. Walk away with your dignity. In December 2022, a tunnel in Qatar swallowed Cristiano Ronaldo whole. Tears streaming, head down, a dream dissolving in real time. And the world nodded. Good career, legendary career, but the story is finished. Except, nobody told Portugal. Because 3 years later, standing on the eve of the 2026 World Cup, this squad doesn't look like a team chasing ghosts. They look like a team chasing history. And if you haven't been paying attention to what Portugal has quietly built, you should start now, because the rest of the world has a serious problem.
What's that?
To understand why
I'm fucking hyped, dog. If you guys don't know, I'm a major Ronaldo fan.
2026 feels so different, you have to understand how broken the picture looked just a few years ago. Portugal had talent. They always had talent. But talent alone never wins World Cups. Ask the Brazil teams of the 2000s. Ask France in 2014. Ask England every single year since 1966. Portugal's golden generation had Ronaldo at the front, flair on the wings, and chaos everywhere else. They were brilliant in flashes, fragile when it mattered most. The 2022 World Cup was supposed to fix all of that. Instead, it tore everything open. Think about what Ronaldo carried into that tournament alone. In April of that year, he lost a newborn son, a grief so private and so devastating that most of us can only imagine the weight of it. And yet, he still flew to Qatar, still laced his boots, still stood in that tunnel every night preparing to play.
No, all hail the king, bruh. For him to be able to take that much grief and still continue to strap on his boots and still go to work, dog. Still work like any other day, bro. Like when greatness is calling, bro. When greatness is calling. When greatness is flipping calling, dog. You answer the call, bro. You don't play around, gang.
Because that is what Ronaldo does. He does not stop. But the football world was moving against him. At Manchester United, a second chapter that was supposed to feel like a fairy tale had collapsed into something painful. Dropped from the starting lineup, in conflict with his manager, a public interview that ended his time at Old Trafford in the worst possible way.
They're trying to force you out.
Yes, not only the coach, but the other 2 or 3 guys there around the club.
At the senior executive level?
Yes, that I felt betrayed.
And you think they're trying to get rid of you?
Honestly, I shouldn't say that, I don't know.
Aquarius, bro. They're trying to get rid of you, Aquarius, bro. Don't worry, bro.
Listen, I don't care. I'm always, people should listen the truth. Yes, I feel betrayed, and I felt that some people that don't want me here, not only this year, but last year too.
He arrived at that World Cup carrying everything: the grief, the controversy, the pressure, the expectation. And then Fernando Santos benched him in the knockout stages. Now, whatever you think of that decision tactically, the image it created was haunting. A man who had given his entire life to Portugal football, sitting on that bench, watching others play. And then Morocco ended it. The cameras found him in that tunnel and didn't look away. That footage traveled around the world. Every pundit, every former player, every fan. The conversation was the same.
What do they say?
Is this the end? And for a brief window, even the most passionate Ronaldo supporters had doubt. Just a flicker of it. But a flicker was enough. Here is what most people missed while they were writing Ronaldo's obituary. He went to Saudi Arabia, kept scoring, kept training with an obsession that would exhaust men half his age, kept leading Portugal in qualifiers and friendlies and Nations League nights like he had something left to prove. Because he did. But Ronaldo rebuilding his hunger was only one part of the story. The real transformation was happening around him. Roberto Martinez arrived as Portugal manager and looked at this squad with a completely different eye. He didn't see an aging star dragging young players backwards. He saw the pieces of something exceptional. He saw Bruno Fernandes operating at the absolute peak of his powers. Not the explosive, sometimes reckless Bruno of earlier years, but a hardened, commanding, genuinely elite Bruno. The kind of midfielder who controls matches from the inside.
Bruno Fernandes is a great player, dog. I don't know why I've been sleeping on the boy for all these years. But Bruno Fernandes is also like an exceptional player.
Side, who sees passes that exist in a different dimension, who presses with intensity, delivers with precision, and leads with fire. He saw Rafael Leao finally arriving as a complete player, not just a highlight reel, not just pace and skill, but a genuine weapon. Long strides that eat up ground at frightening speed, confidence on the ball in tight spaces, a goal threat that defenders simply cannot plan for. He saw Vitinha and João Neves growing at Paris Saint-Germain into something extraordinary together. Two players who had helped rebuild one of Europe's most demanding clubs. Two midfielders who understood pressure, who understood tempo, who understood the difference between playing football and controlling a match. And he saw Nuno Mendes. If you have not watched Nuno Mendes closely enough yet, the 2026 World Cup is going to educate you very quickly. There are left backs who can defend. There are left backs who can attack. Nuno Mendes does both at a level that makes most fullbacks in world football look like they are still learning the position. He has gone toe-to-toe with Salah, with Saka, with Lamine Yamal, and he has not flinched, not once. Now, imagine him overlapping with Rafael Leao on that left side. Imagine trying to stop that combination for 90 minutes at a World Cup. Behind all of this energy, Martinez built something Portugal had always lacked: defensive solidity with real quality. Ruben Dias, one of the finest center backs of his generation, a leader, a communicator, a wall when Portugal need a wall. Inácio alongside him, technical, composed, built for the biggest stages. João Cancelo and Diogo Dalot offering width, experience, tactical intelligence. This defense no longer looks like the weak point. It looks like a foundation. And then came the moment everything crystallized. The Nations League final. Portugal versus Spain. Two nations, two philosophies, one defining 90 minutes. Portugal won. Not in spite of the pressure, because of how they handled the pressure, and they made history doing it, the first nation ever to win the UEFA Nations League twice. Think about what that victory meant tactically. Spain are not a team you beat through chaos. You beat Spain by controlling rhythm, by pressing with structure, by being disciplined for the moments that require discipline and explosive for the moments that require explosion. Portugal did all three. It was the first real sign to the world that this was not a team riding on Ronaldo's reputation anymore. This was a team with an identity. And identity at a World Cup is everything. Here is where the real debate lives. Because you can build the most complete Portugal squad in 30 years. You can have Bruno at his peak, Leao in bay flight, the PSG engine room humming, Nuno Mendes terrifying every right winger on the planet. But the conversation always comes back to one man, Cristiano Ronaldo, 41 years old. And the question that splits football supporters straight down the middle. Does he still deserve to start? Here is what the doubters say, and they are not wrong to say it. At the elite level, the game has changed. Pressing intensity, positional demands, recovery speed. These things do not favor a player in his 40s. The aggressive, powerful, relentless version. That version is gone. Here is what the other side says, and they are not wrong either. The version that remains is still dangerous in ways that matter. Ronaldo in 2026 is a penalty box predator. He does not need 15 touches. He does not need to run behind defenders at full pace. He needs one moment, one cross arriving at the right height at the right time, one set piece, one penalty. And in knockout football, one moment changes everything. Martinez faces the most delicate management challenge of any coach at this tournament. How do you honor what Ronaldo represents while protecting what this squad can become? Get it right, and Portugal become genuinely dangerous. Get it wrong, and the tournament becomes a referendum on one man's ego rather than a collective mission. Former players understand the sensitivity of this. Figo has been careful but clear. The squad must come first, but Ronaldo's experience is not something you simply discard. Deco, now a key figure at Barcelona, has spoken about how Portugal's young players actually draw energy from having Ronaldo there, not pressure, energy. And the fans? In Lisbon, in Porto, in cities across the world where the Portuguese diaspora watches with their hearts in their mouths. They want the fairy tale. They want the ending they did not get in Qatar. They want Ronaldo lifting that trophy. There is a version of this story that ends in heartbreak, where Ronaldo is substituted in a quarterfinal, walks to the bench, and the cameras capture the same image they captured in Qatar. Football is brutal enough to write that ending. But there is another version, where this squad, built from failure and rebuilt with purpose, goes deep into this tournament and does something nobody expected. Where Bruno Fernandes...
I don't know, man. But I'd want Ronaldo to win a World Cup just so he has it, you know. I think I wanna watch this video. Let's tap in.
Still using your personal account for business? Grow with an entrepreneur account. Bank on better.
Night, I saw Nasty C said that Tyler wanted $300,000, right? For a feature. And then he was like, man, what? Then he like basically blocked her.
She doesn't see Nasty. She made it in America.
Let's not take away the superstarness and talent that Nasty C has. See, I'm glad Nasty C blocked her. So. Tyler's not talented, is well marketed.
Can you?
Man, so getting to the current vibes, night. I saw Nasty C said that Tyler wanted $300,000, right? For a feature. And then he was like, nah. And then he like basically blocked her.
Yeah, she tried to hit me with the 300K USD. I said, God damn, man, what? Block, bitch.
USD?
It's man.
Damn.
Who you woke up smelling like today?
Beyonce? He blocked her.
Yeah, he said he blocked her.
Okay.
Because she
No, he
wanted
was just saying
300,000
that-
rands.
He was just saying that for clout, I'm sure.
You think so?
Why would he say that?
But I feel like, I mean, it's a
What do you
miss.
mean? It was a
For
video
me-
of him.
For me,
I
it's
saw
a
the
miss.
video.
It's a miss on Tyler's end. It's a miss on Tyler's side, bro. More than anything.
A miss on what? Where?
Nah, man, it's a miss.
An American Music Awards winner.
No, for South African.
She doesn't see Nasty.
For South African culture.
The only Nasty she knows is the truth.
She doesn't see Nasty.
I mean, on her level, she made it in America.
Yeah, I understand that, and he didn't, obviously.
Exactly. Therefore, it's over.
I feel like
it's over.
For the
It's over. He had his shot.
Bro, like, why is Nota like this, though? I don't know what's man. I mean, like, okay, like, I get it, but sheesh, bro. So, like, do they charge, like, every single South African artist, like, when they want to feature specifically from, say, like, 300 bands or what?
And I'm right here in my spot.
If I was managing Tyler, I would have done it, and I'll say why. Let me tell you why I would have done it.
Have you ever gotten an artist international? No.
Let me tell you why I would have
So
done
therefore,
it.
we don't want to hear. We don't want to hear.
Telling me about international
Let's move on.
songs.
We don't want to hear. We don't want to hear. We don't need to hear this one. I'm so
Two different levels. Have you ever broken in artists in the US, in international? Like, no. Tell them you have international songs. Come on.
No, we don't need to hear. We don't need to hear. Let's.
Don't worry, it gets managed by Tyler, this one.
No.
Remember I said it the other day, he did what for Tyler, remember?
I get zero money.
But remember I said he did what for Tyler.
Everything that I was doing was so that I could end up cutting myself out, right? And have an artist that was signed through my own deals, my own entrepreneurship. You understand? Me flying to United States to wait outside a hotel for 2 hours to speak to Rick Ross 2 years before he could come to this country. You understand? To make those connections, to book DJ Nasty, the guy who produced All I Do Is Win, so I could be good in Miami, so I could be connected with guys over there, so I could set up deals, right? So I could get an artist like Questa to a #1 selling position, which would get me a meeting in the States at Sony, right? Where they could say, because you are our #1 seller in that region, you can give us any artist you want to give us, and we'll give them an international deal. So that we could give a deal to Shoma Josie, who would then give a deal to Tyler, who would then be walking at the Met Gala and shut down Beyonce and Rihanna at the same time. That's the level of work that we do for our country. You understand? So I'm sorry I didn't have time to be in studio with you guys and do all those things, but I was doing things that put food on your table right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when the artist community doesn't appreciate the work that a guy like Nota does without taking a piece or 25%, which I do deserve from all the work that I've done, from people, just so that companies can be existing today, to have artists like you, to have artists like Young Stunner break all those records, to have artists like Mlindo also break records and all that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? That's the work that I do. Take all the credit.
Let's not take away the superstarness and talent that Nasty C has. It's not a waste to do a song with Nasty C. It would actually been better. And
You know who had more bodyguards than Nasty C at propaganda?
I'm glad Nasty C blocked her.
So.
I'm glad Nasty C blocked her. And maybe now he must try to do a song with Malin Aura.
Malin Aura?
I mean, who's this girl?
The
current girl.
MTU, TRP.
What Casper?
Yeah,
Lord Kes.
Lord Kes. I think he must try to do a song with Lord Kes. He's going to get a much more musical song than he was going to get with Tyler. Tyler's not talented, he's well marketed. Tango.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a missed opportunity more than anything.
And mind you, later on, when everything is said and done in the US, right? When the US is done with having a copy of Ciara and want to chill
Copy
with
of
original.
Ciara, ho!
and want to chill with
hold on.
originals.
Sierra does every
And
single
time
dance
with
challenge
originals.
to every single Tyler song.
when
Sierra is Tyler's fan.
when that is done,
Sierra loves Tyler. What is this guy saying?
when that
Hold
is done-
on. No. Calm down.
When that is
Calm
done-
yourself down. Hold on. This guy, right?
When that is done,
He
I
talks
saw
about promoting
everything
South
about
African
Tyler,
music.
bro. I know everything that you know. Do not listen. I
You know
don't listen
nothing.
to Tyler,
You know
but I'm
nothing.
behind Tyler.
You know
I know
nothing.
what Tyler does in the US. I don't miss shit. I don't miss shit. So I know.
So
and I
you know
said-
that Sierra
I said,
dances to her songs?
I know.
Okay, cool.
You know
that Beyonce sent
Even
you a
Sierra
letter?
said she doesn't mind. She would like to do a song with Tyler. Sierra said that.
Okay.
Yeah, just because Sierra, it's a much older woman. She's been in the business. She knows how to embrace new talent. That's because new talent. She just
talent.
doesn't know that kid is not really talented until they hit studio. When it's time to sing for real. When it's time to sing for real,
I don't know.
She's
We'll
gonna
see.
realize
Someday.
It's okay.
In the future.
Nah, I'm telling you, bro.
Oh, that's a crazy take, Rizzo. One day when it's time to sing for real.
Bro,
When it's game time.
bro. Nice to see you. Shout out to you for blocking. Me, I was gonna block and post.
Hold on. Are we seeing Nasty at the World Cup?
I don't think so.
No.
But Nasty C is not signed, guys. Like that's a whole different level of opportunity right there.
But he's busy. No.
He was
busy doing what? Nothing.
He's on a live stream with Sam now. With his girlfriend. Hey, mama.
What's wrong with that?
There's
That's
nothing
hip hop
wrong.
culture, bro.
Exactly. And he's
What
That's
Nabi
hip hop culture. That's hip hop culture, bro.
Why should
Right.
we do
You
that?
get
To be a
credibility.
streamer.
You no.
Hip-hop culture has to be a streamer.
You get
To
credibility.
go from a rapper to a streamer.
You get credibility.
I'm just saying that's hip hop culture.
You get.
Why am I receiving shots for no reason, bro? Why am I receiving shots for no reason? Nyenzeni.
Get credibility as a hip hop artist if you have a partner, you're in a relationship, you are taken serious, you have your own kids. That adds to your credibility a lot. People see you differently.
But which partner?
Let me finish.
No, the right type of partner.
So is that not
what's
the
that
right
girl
type
that
of partner?
didn't freestyle? What's her name? I keep mixing up the names. What's her name? Please give me the proper name.
K-Kid.
K-Kid.
Yeah.
Last night.
What happened? Where? Last night?
Yeah. She nearly showed me flames. Yo.
K-Kid.
K-Kid's girl.
Oh, what's on the store?
Dog, I had to double take my hand. I had to look at my hand like, and look at it.
As you should.
Hey, man.
Oh, what's on the store?
Hey!
Safisa,
Hey!
you lie.
Hey!
What's Karamine?
Ampur. Hey. Just that I was fighting.
What? Huh?
No, I just came with unbeatable. So, yeah.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
yeah.
But many other niggas.
I don't think
Many other niggas, let's slap that cap off your
Why
head.
you guys saluting? Like, uma say pa vela stock. Like, you guys away. K-Kid. Or don't play the stock.
And the girlfriend is...
Wait.
Is she lesbian?
What were you yesterday?
We were at...
Is she lesbian?
We were at...
I think so.
We were at Arsenal's funeral.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she came by?
She was there.
Yo.
But she came les.
Wow.
Cover it.
How do we go from talking about Tyler to talking about Abu Chiri Baga K-Kid? When cartoons get cancelled. Why was Samurai Jack cancelled?
Do you know why some of your favorite cartoons got canceled? Well, I went looking for answers, and let's just say, I wish I hadn't. Let's start with Nickelodeon canceling Danny Phantom right when things finally started looking up for
Why?
Danny. It's been 20 years, but I'm still not over this. Danny had just saved the entire planet from a ghost asteroid, then revealed his identity to the whole world. Finally, for a large part of the show, this secret was between Danny, Sam, and us. And instead of rejection that he was so scared of, he got statues everywhere around the world. Then, to crown everything off, he finally got together with Sam after 3 seasons of everyone screaming at the screen for them to just say it already. This episode was like a fever dream for me. Everything that I'd wished for Danny since season 1 happened left, right, and center. But now that I'm grown up and I've seen it again, it's actually not that great. The 1-hour finale, Phantom Planet, was rushed and full of plot holes. We waited 3 seasons for Danny and Sam to get together, and the best they could do was have Sam spend half the episode guilt-tripping Danny for giving up his powers. Then suddenly they're a couple in the last 5 minutes. If you think I'm tripping, Watch Mojo included it on their list of the most disappointing cartoon finales. There was clearly more to tell, but not enough room to tell it properly. All of a sudden, Nickelodeon just stopped showing new episodes. At first, I thought maybe we'll just have to wait, but after a few months without any announcement of a new season, it slowly hit me that they were done with it. That's what I call pain. The show was too good for only 3 seasons. Turns out, Nickelodeon's president stepped down in 2006. New management came in and they did what new executives always do. They cancel everything approved by the previous team to mark a new era, and unfortunately, Danny Phantom was caught in that crossfire. Butch Hartman, the creator of Danny Phantom, also revealed that Nickelodeon moved all their merchandising focus to Avatar before any proper campaign for Danny Phantom could even get started. To be fair, Avatar was goated, but 2 legends can absolutely coexist with each other. This cancellation...
Get 2 large Savor Flavor pizzas for $179.80. Roman's Pizza. Best pizza, best value.
Hurt too many people. Even today, you can go on any fanfiction site and you'll find hundreds of continuations and fan-made season 4s. People made these to cope and to help others cope with the fact that the series they love so much is well and truly over. My hot take is Danny Phantom would still work out if it was released today. The fan community is still active 2 decades later, and the show randomly pops up in Twitter conversations like clockwork. But I also understand why no one is attempting a continuation. That would risk ruining some of the most beautiful memories that we have of that show. And Danny Phantom wasn't the only one that Nickelodeon let slip through their fingers. Wolverine and the X-Men hit Nicktoon Networks in 2009, and from the first episode, it was clear that this wasn't going to be a watered-down version of the movies. This was raw and dark and genuinely different from any X-Men cartoon that came before it. The show literally opens with Wolverine saying his goodbyes to the team and walking out of the X-Mansion, and then boom! The whole building explodes right as he's leaving. And just like that, Professor X and Jean Grey were gone, and the X-Men fell apart completely. Then Professor X from the future reached out to Wolverine, the most nonchalant mutant in history, to put together a team and stop the world from ending. If you know, you know. The Wolverine on a mission is a different beast completely, so obviously we were hyped to see him try. But ultimately, it was about seeing how they worked together to stop whatever was going to cause the end of the world. Seeing the members of the X-Men agree to rejoin one by one had me wheezing, but none got me as hyped as Cyclops. It took a lot of convincing, considering Jean meant the world to him. As far as he's concerned, the world already ended. But the moment he got hope of seeing Jean again, he locked into the mission. And I don't know why I love Cyclops so much, his powers just look cool. Emphasis on looks, because I would not back him in a fight against Wolverine for even 1 second. Anyway, they had to go through multiple obstacles like Magneto, and by the time that the finale hit, they had done the impossible. They changed the future and saved the timeline. But right as we were celebrating the win, the professor came back with some frying pan to the fire news. The future they avoided led to another future that was way darker and full of evil. The apocalypse was coming. And that was it for season 1. Lord knows if I could have skipped straight to the season 2 release date, I would have done it without hesitation. Apart from the apocalypse, cool characters like Deadpool, Bastion, and Colossus were supposed to make appearances, and I was over the moon. That's all my friends were talking about for weeks, and I'll never forget some of the guys that tried to spoil the action with the apocalypse just because they had read the comics. Well, joke's on all of you, the apocalypse didn't happen because the show never continued. That's still one of the biggest betrayals that I've experienced to date, and it came down to money issues. The show was produced by Kickstart Entertainment. Unfortunately, one of their key financial backers went bust and they couldn't find a replacement in time. Marvel considered stepping in, but couldn't work out a deal on who would own the larger percentage of the rights, and so the whole thing kinda just collapsed. They had a guaranteed banger ready for the second season, but just couldn't work out the math. Sometime later, scripts for season 2 leaked online, and some fans actually read them. I didn't even bother. I'm not ready to start fantasizing sessions in my head about something that I'll never actually see. I did imagine how the Wolverine and Deadpool part would go, though. Thank God that we finally got to see them together in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. Another iconic show that was cancelled around this time is Spectacular Spider-Man. Before the bangers like Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, never forget when we got our own Spider-Man series, Spectacular Spider-Man. It wasn't a cheap knockoff of the Spider-Man movies. This was one of the best Spider-Man adaptations ever made. And one of the reasons I'm never shocked when I see any of these new Spider-Man movies that everyone is so excited about is that the Spider-Man producers have always been visionaries. They're in a league of their own, for real. Spectacular Spider-Man premiered in 2008 and somehow balanced the action and character development in a way that makes you care equally about both. That's something that's very rare, but you could argue it's a Spider-Man thing. But again, it's a cartoon, and you'd expect it to be all action and fights. Peter Parker felt like an actual teenager. He was awkward, broke, constantly juggling too many things at once and making mistakes because he was 16 years old, and 16-year-olds make mistakes even when they don't secretly fight supervillains. Speaking of which, even the villains were great, and the Spider-Man fight scenes still made sense in 2026. I mean, take a look at this. Greg Weisman, the showrunner, had outlined plans for at least 5 seasons of Spectacular Spider-Man because he wanted to develop the character arcs and storylines to the fullest. 2 seasons in, the show was finding its stride. The audience was growing, the critical response was strong, and the creative team clearly had more story to tell. Then, in 2009, Disney acquired Marvel and it changed everything. Sony had been producing Spectacular Spider-Man as part of a bigger deal that also gave them rights to make the Spider-Man live-action movies. When Disney bought Marvel in 2009, Sony needed to renegotiate the deal to keep making those films. The movies were making billions, so they weren't letting that go. To keep the live-action rights, Sony traded away the animation rights back to Marvel, and that one trade ended the show. Sony couldn't continue making the show because they no longer held the animation rights, but Marvel couldn't do it either because Sony still owned all the specific elements, like the character designs, the storylines, everything created specifically for this version. They would have had to license all of that back from Sony to continue it, and nobody wanted to do that. This had nothing to do with the quality of the show or how fans received it. At the end of the day, you just have to accept that most of our childhood classics only lasted as long as they did because they were good for business. All of them were only one inconvenience away from being kicked off their networks.
Car not in the parking lot? Good thing you're naked and can submit claims in minutes on the Naked app. Get naked.
As long as the show's good.
At least Disney eventually made up for it by giving us the Ultimate Spider-Man in 2012, which is almost as good as Spectacular Spider-Man to me. But at that point, people were just not open-minded enough to watch the show or care about it. We also got a fire game on the feature phones, which was one of my first Spider-Man games, so it wasn't the best decision to cancel Spectacular Spider-Man, but it definitely wasn't the worst. As painful as that was, it's nothing compared to the betrayal I felt when Symbiotic Titan got canceled for almost outrageous reasons. Symbiotic Titan came from Genndy Tartakovsky, the same man behind Samurai Jack and the original Clone Wars microseries. Tartakovsky had cemented himself as one of the greats in visual storytelling. The show had everything. The high school scenes were genuinely funny, especially for a mech show. The alien lore was deep and interesting. The action was exactly what you expect from Tartakovsky. Extraordinary. The story was building gradually until Cartoon Network canceled it after 1 season of just 20 episodes.
Why?
Just 1 season is crazy, and it wasn't due to low ratings or viewership issues. The show was canceled because it didn't bag a toy deal. Even saying that out loud gets me pissed off. You have a masterpiece of storytelling and a loyal audience, and you kill it because you can't figure out how to turn the giant robot into a plastic action figure fast enough. They concluded that they couldn't justify the production cost without the toy deal. Ugh. What makes it even worse is that Tartakovsky and his crew had written 10 more episodes before the cancellation came through. I can't even imagine the confused look on the production team's faces when they found out their show was getting canceled over a toy deal that had very little to do with them. Now, that's really painful, but at least we moved on. Teen Titans didn't give us that chance. It was canceled, replaced, and then we were forced to watch its replacement run for over a decade on the same network while we begged for the original. That's just wild, and Cartoon Network should have to answer for it. The original Teen Titans was a straight-up hit since its debut in 2003. It was one of the most loved shows on the network. You know what? Forget the show. Even the banger theme song was more popular than some shows on Cartoon Network at the time. I'm not going to mention any names, but you know them. Everything was going great for Teen Titans, and then they finished season 5
quoted song in Cartoon Network is Ben Sen.
that bittersweet Terra ending where Beast Boy finds someone who looks exactly like her, but with no memory of who she was. Now everyone was hyped for the 6th season because we wanted answers. But that was the last time we saw them. It just didn't add up. The creative team clearly wanted a 6th season. The fan base wanted a 6th season. And by every reasonable measure, the show had earned a 6th season. But the more I investigated this situation, the more I confirmed that what's good for the fans is more than likely not so good for the big shareholders. The problem started with a toy licensing dispute. Bandai held the Teen Titans toy license, but Cartoon Network had signed an exclusive deal with Mattel for all their other shows. Mattel was furious that Bandai was the exception and pressured Cartoon Networks to cancel Teen Titans entirely, rather than let the competitor take some cash. Teen Titans had to end because 2 toy companies couldn't share a shelf. Can someone please tell me if there was some hidden agenda other than this? Because this one doesn't sound serious enough to cancel a show of this magnitude. 4 years later, Cartoon Network saw the Teen Titans brand still had value. But instead of giving us season 6, they gave us Teen Titans Go! With the same characters, the same voice actors, but absolutely nothing of the storytelling philosophy. What we got was more of a meme machine designed to sell plushies to toddlers. Okay, maybe I'm being too harsh here. It wasn't the worst, but it's just not as deep as the original. Now let's look at a show that was too good to continue, Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack was way ahead of its time. It has one of
This is the most quoted cartoon.
the most iconic storylines and one of the most distinct animation styles in cartoon history. That Aku versus Jack dynamic was the ultimate battle of good versus evil, and we enjoyed it for 4 seasons. Then Cartoon Network just stopped airing it in 2004, without a final battle or at least a conclusion to the story. What happened was Tartakovsky was burned out after 4 seasons. On top of that, all his bosses at Cartoon Network had been replaced, and the network became a completely different place. Then Star Wars Clone Wars came calling, and he didn't want to rush Samurai Jack just to finish it, so he stepped away. And Cartoon Network never officially picked it back up. They didn't say why, but did they really have to mention that nobody else could do it like Tartakovsky? The show was iconic to the point that we kept talking about it for years. Even people who hadn't seen it had to go back to see what they were missing. The fan base refused to let it die. And then in 2017, Adult Swim brought it back. Season 5 premiered 13 years after the original, and Tartakovsky was back in charge. The original cast also came back. That's why they 100% crushed it. The final season was darker and more emotionally brutal than anything the original run had attempted, and it was the ending the story had always deserved. Samurai Jack became one of the few cancelled shows that actually got to return and finish the story, and that's saying something, because if a show can come back after 13 years and stick the landing, there is no excuse for leaving any others on this list unfinished. And speaking of stories that deserve better endings, Young Justice premiered on Cartoon Network in 2010 and was immediately one of the most ambitious superhero cartoons on television. No surprise there, we've always been crazy about Superman, Flash, and Wonder Woman. Getting their mini versions at our age just hit differently. The sidekicks and protégés of the Justice League operating as a covert team handling missions that the League itself could not take publicly. And they were just as political as their mentors. We saw them have some serious internal disagreements, hidden agendas, and they definitely got real consequences for each decision they made. My favorite part was when Superboy first clashed with the team after they discovered him, because at the time, people used to question whether Superman was the strongest in the Justice League, and I think this was good evidence that my GOAT is absolutely the most goated. The villains were also very manipulative and strategic, so it wasn't flat fights all the time. The show was so good, it eventually became a problem for itself with the way it attracted an older audience. But the toy line was funded by Mattel and designed specifically for young kids. Now, there's a massive difference between a 7-year-old who wants every single figure on the rack and a 16-year-old who might appreciate the show just as much but will never step foot in the toy aisle. And the sales reflected exactly that. Mattel wasn't making the numbers they needed from the audience, so they pulled their funding entirely. And without that money, Cartoon Network just couldn't afford another season. Nobody stopped to ask whether making merchandise that actually matched the audience might have solved their problem. Most businesses would kill for a diverse mix of old and young people like this. But the bean counters at Mattel only wanted to see toy sales go up, and since it wasn't working out the way they planned, they labeled Young Justice a failure. This was one of the most avoidable cancellations in animation history, and everyone knew it, so the fan base fought back. People bought iTunes episodes in coordinated numbers to demonstrate viewership, and most importantly, we kept the conversation alive for years. We talked about the fights, debated who was faster between Superman and the Flash, and used the show as reference all the time. And it worked! Young Justice came back in 2019 on DC Universe. We got a 3rd season and then a 4th, but a 6-year gap is a 6-year gap. 13-year-old watching season 2 is staring down the barrel at 20 by season 3. It's just not acceptable, but we'll take it. One of the very few times the people actually won. Clone High got the exact opposite treatment. The people went against them and they folded in half like a bunch of expired Pop-Tarts. This show was a fever dream. You had clones of Abraham Lincoln, Joan of Arc, and Gandhi navigating high school.
I don't know. Okay, I remember that guy. That last dark guy, I remember. Other people I do not know them for shit. Them other people, I do not know them other people. Speed hurts.
Speedsters are some of the most awesome characters in Hollywood. They're flashy, iconic, sonic, and they always give us stupidly cool action sequences. Okay, except maybe this one. Maybe this one is not that good. Speedsters are also a huge part of anime, but their speed is rarely just about moving fast. It comes with gimmicks, systems that are completely unique to each of them, and rules. Lots and lots of rules. Both Hollywood and anime started with one very basic idea, going fast. Both of them took that idea in completely different directions, and yet, despite all those differences, both of them created some of the greatest speedsters in fiction. So the real question is, why the heck are they so different? And ultimately, who actually does speedsters better?
Hey, we never did settle who's the fastest man alive.
No, we never did.
The first thing you need to know is that speed powers are literally everywhere in Hollywood. Movies, series, cartoons, it does not matter. And if we're actually going to do this properly, I need to show you a proper variety of them, starting with arguably the most famous speedster of all time, the Flash. In this case, I'm talking specifically about Barry Allen from the CW Flash. This man is a scientist who gets struck by lightning during a particle accelerator explosion and wakes up with the ability to go fast. Classic. There's this one sequence early on in the series where he moves a fully grown adult out of the path of danger so fast that the person doesn't even know it happened to them. In fact, you've got moments throughout the series where this guy is reacting to bullets, to lightning, to things that are genuinely moving faster than any human eye can see. He is not just, running fast. He is experiencing the entire world in slow motion. There are moments where everything around him is basically frozen, and it looks sick. Now, if you're anywhere between the age of, let's say, 5 and 500, and I say the word speedster, you'll probably think of either the Flash or... Okay, so this is basically a fast little blue hedgehog from a bunch of video games who somehow ended up with his own movies. Cool. There's a scene in the first Sonic movie where this random angry dude in a bar tries to, grab him. But then time just stops. The entire bar is frozen and nobody is moving except this unhinged little hedgehog who has all the time in the world to do whatever he wants, like, eating hot dogs midair. My dude even has super speed within the super speed. Quicksilver from
Yo, this guy is so fucking fast, dog. Yes.
the X-Men probably gave us the single best thing anyone has ever done with a speed power on screen. Basically, there's a scene where a bunch of guards try to shoot the good guys. Bullets are slowly leaving the barrel, and this dude just looks at it, puts his glasses on, then moves through the entire room of people who are basically frozen, repositioning bodies, rerouting bullets midair, and the whole time he is goofing around. I mean, my man just pulled someone's pants and then made another dude punch himself. To him, the rest of the world is barely even moving. A-Train is a speedster from The Boys. There's a scene where we fully get to see what he's capable of. In what I think is basically a fraction of a second to everyone else, this man has enough time to look around, figure out what's kind of happening, decide who needs help, put his glasses on again, and then proceeds to pull grenades off someone's vest, move multiple people out of harm's way, including a dude who was this close to being lasered in the face. And then, there is my personal favorite, the most goated speedster in cartoons, Accelerate from Ben 10.
The gold. Nah, Accelerate's the gold, bro. I don't want to hear none but none, boy.
There's a sequence where Ben transforms into Accelerate during a baseball game. He's going up against a team of advanced robots that were built specifically not to lose at baseball. But Ben moves so fast that from literally everyone else's perspective in that stadium, nothing is happening. The robots cannot track him. The crowd cannot see anything that's going on. And this kid is going absolutely insane at speeds that normal eyes cannot even begin to process. But from his side of things, everything is just stopped. I'm sure that at this point, you can kind of tell that Hollywood loves a good slow motion speedster scene. And I mean, I get it. These guys are genuinely incredible at making you feel a power rather than just showing it to you. Sure, we get, some kinds of explanations in these movies or these series. But nobody in these scenes just stops to explain reaction time or perception speed or whatever complicated physics would technically be happening at that speed. You are simply watching the world freeze, and one person move through it and your brain immediately goes, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. The impact is instant and amazing, which is cool for everyone, but especially a younger audience who doesn't want to sit there analyzing stuff. These, in my opinion, are some of the most emotionally strong moments in superhero cinema, and speed is the thing that makes all of it work. But here's the thing. When you turn a speedster into a dude that can basically stop time, that comes with a pretty big disadvantage. Check this out. Quicksilver, as in a dude who casually jogged through a frozen explosion and redirected bullets, somehow gets caught by a guy with no established super speed and gets his leg trapped. Does that make sense? No. A-Train, a character who we have seen make conscious decisions inside a completely frozen world, gets into a fight with a non-speedster and just does not use his super speed to win. Does that make sense? No! CW Flash, a man who can basically stop time, gets caught by a dude with an ice gun. Yes, a gun that slowly shoots ice. Does that make sense? Heck no! I can basically say the exact same thing for Sonic from the movies and Accelerate, but you get the idea. Now, I am not at all trying to say that Hollywood is not capable of doing that stuff correctly, because that would just not be true, and there are exceptions like, for example, Metro Man from Megamind, where they fully leaned into the fact that this guy is basically a god that can stop time. Or even Dash from The Incredibles, who is a speedster but still slow enough to get caught if he isn't careful. But those exceptions are honestly few and far between. I think a big reason Hollywood handles speed the way it does comes down to something that's kind of baked into American superhero fiction. This stuff, for a very long time, has been built around the idea of the hero as someone you're supposed to look up to, someone aspirational. And because of that, American superhero media isn't always concerned with whether it makes logical sense. The point is that when a speedster bends reality, or saves 100 people in 3 seconds, or just completely embarrasses every normal human in the vicinity, you're supposed to feel it. And it works. I mean, as I said, some of the most memorable and inspiring moments in cinema exist specifically because of this approach. And that is not an accident. But here's the problem. When your number one priority is creating a powerful moment rather than following a logic that actually holds up, the rules of the power are going to change depending on what the scene needs. Let's say the speedster is operating at full godlike speed in every single scene. How do you ever give them a real challenge? The answer is that you basically quietly turn down the dial when the story needs you to, and you just hope the audience doesn't notice. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they absolutely do. And look, I really don't want to be the guy who stands here and says, well, actually, that wouldn't happen, or that character would never do stuff like that, because honestly, small inconsistencies can be fun. They can add depth and texture. I get it. But someone being able to freeze the world, but who then struggles to beat a pretty regular person, that is not a small inconsistency. That is madness. I am actively being asked to forget something that you yourself showed me. You set the standard. And now every single scene that comes after it gets measured against that standard, whether you like it or not. And when this kind of stuff happens, the stakes can stop feeling real. It's kind of like if a situation like this happened. Hey dude, you should subscribe to my channel. Sure. So, are you gonna do it? Oh, I already did it. Just didn't notice.
12 seconds later.
Hey man, sorry, I noticed it didn't actually work. Could you try subscribing again? For sure, dude. What are you doing? That's my maximum speed, dude. Don't you know I'm doing my best? Now, what's interesting is that anime has gone in a pretty different direction with all of this. Where Hollywood builds speed around the moment, anime builds it around the system. And that genuinely changes everything about how these characters feel. The best way I can show you what I mean is by just looking at characters that have different levels of speed.
Say what?
My balls are gone! Okru is the main character of Dandadan, and the reason this dude can move like an absolute maniac is because he has the power of the ancient spirit of a fast old lady called Turbo Granny. I told you they went in a different direction. At the start of the series, he can technically go up to 100 kilometers per hour, but he has absolutely no idea what to do with this speed. His body is basically fighting him the entire time, and every time he uses it, my man can barely even turn. But as you keep watching, the guy trains, and the fights get to a point where he isn't just pointing himself in the direction and hoping for the best anymore. He's chaining moves together, he's thinking about spacing, he's actually timing his acceleration. The power itself hasn't really changed at all, but the guy using it became better. Killua from Hunter x Hunter can turn his energy into electricity. What it actually does is sharpen his reaction time, stimulate his muscles, and make his body move on its own before his brain even has time to process what's happening. And honestly, way more stuff that I just do not have time to talk about. There are levels to this, okay? So, there is this moment where he's just tearing through waves of dangerous enemies in a forest. And by this point in the story, you already know what this guy is capable of in terms of speed. He goes into a cave and runs into the Ortho siblings. They hit him with a dart ability that fires projectiles with literally no visible form before impact. And just like that, speed, as in the one thing that has carried him through everything, just does not matter anymore. He gets hit and it's looking pretty bad. So he thinks about the situation and finds the one tiny window where his speed can actually make a difference. And he uses it in that exact moment to intercept the final attack.
Have you no heart left inside of you, Maki?
Naoya from Jujutsu Kaisen has this technique called projection sorcery. And what it does, basically, is divide 1 second into 24 frames and force both him and everyone he touches to move inside that sequence. It's a little complicated, but what he does is that he runs fast, and if you can't keep up with his rhythm, that freezes you. At some point, he fights this dude called Chozo, where you get to see what he's capable of. A little while later, he also fights this girl called Maki. Naoya is chaining high-speed movements with such disgusting precision that Maki can barely even register what's happening. But then, with a bit of time, she actually figures out his technique. You can see her counting every frame and getting used to the rhythm of how he moves. Naoya's speed was there, but his opponent waited for the exact moment his technique made him vulnerable and delivered a brutal finishing punch.
Stand a chance to win your share of 400,000 Rand in prizes with Stimmerol. T's and C's apply.
Holy shit. biggest punch of your career.
Minato from Naruto is nicknamed the Yellow Flash for a very good reason. His whole thing is a technique called Flying Raijin. And the way it works is that he places special marks on objects or people and can instantly teleport to any of them whenever he wants. The dude is already extremely fast without this technique, which we get to see plenty of times during the series. But once he uses it, the entire battlefield becomes a network of places he can appear from at any given moment. His fight against the guy called Obito is probably the cleanest example of why this ability is so stupid. Obito reaches for him, and Minato disappears before reappearing above him with a devastating attack. And yet, later, Minato gets caught. A character who basically just teleported a few moments later gets hit. And it doesn't feel wrong, because by that point, he is exhausted. His abilities were the same, but he was in a position where he couldn't just use them. Or at least, not effectively.
All right, people. Let's get started, shall we?
Kuro Sensei from Assassination Classroom is a yellow alien octopus who moves at Mach 20. Just to give you an idea of what he's capable of, my guy can travel to any country within seconds, dodge thousands of bullets shot at him at the same time.
Yo, look at this guy. Nah. Fuck Neon. Bro is not going. Every big player missing. World Cup 2026.
Now there's a bunch of players who are missing out on the World Cup 2026. Not just because their nations didn't make it, not just because they were injured, but because they just genuinely didn't get picked for their nation squad. So I thought, let's talk about all the missing stars from this upcoming World Cup. And first off, elephant in the room, Italy have not made another World Cup. To miss 3 World Cups in a row is just crazy to me. Like 3 consecutive catastrophes, 3 separate generations of Italian talent robbed. The 2026 chapter ended in Bosnia on the 31st of March. Italy had reached the European playoff final, but before half time, Alessandro Bastoni, one of the best centre-backs in the world, 2-time Serie A winner, 2 Champions League finals, made a lunging last-minute challenge and got sent off. Bastoni's red card didn't just change the game, it basically wrote the obituary for Italy's World Cup. Bosnia equalised in the 79th minute through Haris Tabakovic. Extra time came and went, penalties. Gianluigi Donnarumma, who had made the save during the match, couldn't stop a single Bosnian penalty. And while Italy's own takers missed, Marcotti put it in perfectly for Bosnia. Italy had more than enough quality to qualify. They're 13th in the FIFA World Rankings, and this is not a talent problem at this point. This is a way deeper problem. There is dysfunction in that system, and due to them bowing out at this stage and not making...
Alright, you're taking too long, Papi. Taking too long. Who copied who? KSI and the segment are falling apart. You're lying. You're lying.
This is honestly the hardest video I've ever had to make in my life. But after a lot of thought, I have decided that I will no longer be doing Sidemen videos.
Is that real?
So KSI has officially left the Sidemen, and honestly, I've never been the biggest Sidemen fan.
I took a quick look to see what I've been missing, and the answer might be not much, actually. The signs may have been there for a while. One moment that really stands out is when they dropped a video called Simon Last to P wins 20 grand. That alone felt like a pretty strong clue about where things were heading. The funniest part, without question, is that you can actually tell they A/B tested the title too. Just imagine the conversations happening in the office while everyone argued over which version would get the clicks.
It doesn't feel real. The Sidemen have been such a huge part of my life.
What is he talking about?
For over 12, 13 years. Together we've done things I never thought were possible.
This is actually a huge deal in the UK. For some reason, people seem to think I'm middle-aged. But I was younger when these videos were blowing up, so seeing something like this happen feels pretty significant. That said, the warning signs may have been there for a while. Just a couple of weeks ago, KSI posted this, didn't want to listen when I told you put me down repeatedly and disguised it as humbling me. Now you see the results, but act like you never knew what I brought to the table. Funny that now you listen to keep the foundation stable. It was only when I read it that I realized it was meant to be a verse of some kind. But the bigger point is what it seems to suggest. The tone there feels noticeably different from the goodwill and positivity he's putting across in this video. That contrast is what makes the whole situation a lot more interesting, because it hints that there may have been tensions behind the scenes long before this announcement.
I've watched these boys grow into incredible men. I've watched these guys grow into fathers. I've watched them grow into husbands.
The main message he's trying to get across is that this was an amicable split. That's clearly the angle he wants people to take away from it. But as you're about to see, I'm not convinced the situation was quite that simple. To be fair, he does make a point of saying some genuinely positive things about the rest of the group.
To Simon, the friend I've known the absolute longest, from the times we fought when we were young to all the happy, great times we had when we used to live together.
At first glance, those comments make it sound like
this video is taking too freaking long to move up. Shout out Badplex. Shout out Badplex, man. Still dropping videos. Billion's dead. What does that mean? He fell for the trap. Oh nah, I watched that video already. It's to play. This game is out.
It's pretty cool what they're doing to Wolverine's body too as he takes damage. He's losing chunks of himself, like his back there.
This came out.
Yeah, let's go.
Didn't know this game was out already.
Where are those mutants?
He just cut that guy's shirt off. No one knows Wolverine is short in the comics. I think everybody knows that. I was just kidding about 4'5". I think canonically he's 5'2". But everyone knows that. At least I think. He's 5'3". Is it 5'3"? Thought he was 5'2". Wow.
Let's get you guys out of here.
I enjoy your game, bro.
Lock it. I'm Wolverine.
That was pretty fucking hype. I hope that gameplay wasn't just scripted and it actually plays like that, because that did look very smooth.
So that's the demo version. I thought that's the game. That's the demo version.
Some folks can't wait to die.
Wow, it comes out in September? I thought it'd be like December or something.
We hope you enjoyed that new look at Marvel's Wolverine. This is a single-player, action-adventure game featuring a focused, story-driven experience that will send Logan on a parallel...
Best Evil Temple, the Templars. Fucking Plastic Man is stupidly overpowered.
Alright, I've recently been slurping.
I need to be honest with you lot for a second. Sometimes I drive like an idiot. Sometimes I need to be the first person at a red robot to take off because, I don't know, war is in a rush. Ain't enough hours in our day. That's how I know some of you are guilty of that. But here's the thing. All that heavy acceleration.
Alright, I've recently been slurping up some Plastic Man content, and I guess I didn't realize how OP this dude really was because he's only in a few things outside of the comics, so I wanted to make this video talking about him. First, I've got to quickly go over his origins so you know him and his powers a little better. One night, Patrick Eel O'Brien and his gang were hitting a lick at an experimental chemical warehouse. While running away from the police, Eel was shot and the experimental chemicals fell onto him and into his wound. He was able to get away, but his gang left him and he ended up passing out, and when he woke up, he realized he had powers. This is also where he decided to just give up being a criminal and become a hero. Now, his powers are pretty stupidly overpowered. He's invulnerable to bullets, explosions, any sort of blunt force. He's basically just indestructible for the most part, and even if he is hurt, he just kind of reforms himself like nothing happened. With his elastic skin, he can shapeshift into literally anything he can think of, no matter the size, including dinosaurs, a tank, a dragon, other people, literally anything he can think of. He also doesn't age, nor does he need to eat, drink, or sleep, so he's essentially immortal. And with all of his powers, he's done some cool shit, so I want to talk about it. First, I gotta talk about him in Injustice in both the movie and the comic. Buddy was moving different.
But if he's so like overpowered, then like he's just kind of a boring act, isn't he not? Rappers reacting to 6ix9ine snitching. It sucks to be Green Lantern. Nah, that song is fire, not gonna lie. Why only rich kids become pop stars now? I mean, it's life, dog. Yeah, we ain't gonna sit around here complaining like some bitches now, are we? Shane Eagles is not gonna drop another project anytime soon. This guy is busy on top of his girlfriend instead of dropping music. He's busy.
Every time a new pop star becomes famous nowadays, the story is basically the same. They come from a small town, they had nothing growing up, they recorded their first song in their bedroom and just got lucky. But when you dig deeper, you pull up the parents, you pull up the family house, and you find all the industry ties, the humble beginnings you've been hearing about for the last decade. Well, that's not the whole truth. And in some cases, it's not true at all. So why do only rich kids become pop stars now? So first we have to look at what the music industry used to look like. Now, having industry ties and family money in music, that's nothing new. Even Aretha Franklin had a jump start. Her father, C.L. Franklin, was one of the most famous Baptist preachers in the country, and he used his connections to get her signed to Columbia at 18. But what was different back then was you could be Aretha Franklin with a famous dad with connections, or you can be the kid from nowhere with no connections and no money and no momentum. You could still make it. All you needed was a good audition or a good demo tape. A lot of the groups from the 60s and 70s like the Jackson 5 and the Supremes, they got their big break from auditioning and impressing the label executives. It didn't matter who they knew or how much motion they had. Mariah Carey was working as a waitress in New York when one of her friends slipped her demo tape to the head of Columbia Records at a label party. He played it in the car and he was ready to sign her. Back then, you didn't need a famous dad or money or a manager making moves for you. You just needed a song or a voice that was good enough that someone with power couldn't ignore it. But that door doesn't exist anymore. Now, you need a hit song, a music video, connections to get the meetings, a manager or agent, money to get your names in the blogs and your songs on the playlist, and you need social media following, tens of thousands minimum, before a label will even take you seriously. So the question is, who actually makes it now? Sabrina Carpenter's origin story is the classic Disney Channel come up. She grew up in a small
Nah, we ain't trying to hear none of that shit.
So Tottenham are assuming it's a free kick. Gomez puts it down on the floor, which obviously wasn't where the initial offence was. Then he realises it isn't a free kick, sticks it in the back of the net. Well, that is the most bizarre goal I think I've ever seen in the English Premier League.
Butler. It took a deflection off of Pereira and somehow it goes in!
Get away from Gallagher to hit it with a left foot, but not.
Oh my goodness, he's got the strangest of goals and he cannot believe it!
Keeper.
Here comes Payet. This. And with good reason. What an outstanding effort from Maximilian Arnold. Swerving into the top corner.
Nobody actually touched it.
Oh, he's managed to creep in. That seemed to have precious little hope. Dear, I don't believe it. What a goal we have just seen from Roberto Carlos. That is amazing.
Well, that was what was missing in Euro 96.
twisting, turning. That's a penalty, is it? No, he's still going. Oh, how about that? How about that? Theo Walcott has a hat-trick. Messi's still going. Back on his feet brilliantly. Lionel Messi. Oh, what a goal!
That is absolutely brilliant. Messi at his best.
It's Ronaldo who's getting there first. It's 6 for Portugal. And Cristiano Ronaldo has his first competitive international goal. Threatening here from Sunderland, he'll fall for bent. The stadium of light erupts. It's the man in form who strikes.
Punches though. It's off Diame and into the back of the net. Extraordinary. Low ball in looking for Chicharito. Chicharito announces his arrival into English football.
Able to control the play in midfield, the way that Maradona has been able to do. And he's hurting England again here. It's a brilliant run.
And trying himself and scoring wonderfully, brilliantly.
Oh dear, what a goal!
Finds Richardson. Oh, Torre! Paulo Torre sliced in. A crazy own goal. He wonders how it happened. It's another mistake in an away game from Liverpool's number 4. Lifts it into the area. Ibra scores! That is number 500 for Zlatan
100,000 a month. That's 6 figures in a month. How was he killed by Batman?
You're slow, Zoom. In the old days, you never needed help. What's the problem?
You might say everything.
Nice shot.
It was Batman. In another timeline. Can't say that I blame him. Thanks to me, his entire world was going to die. Only Flash could turn back time. And I was damned if I was gonna let that happen. I never saw it coming. But I felt it. I tried to vibrate my inner molecules to save my brain even as the bullet was tearing through. And in that moment, that very infinitesimal split second before death, I drew the Speed Force into me with every ounce of willpower I had left. I literally bought time. I'd expanded my moment of dying into days, maybe weeks. But it's like operating in a fog. Everything's a little unreal and warped. I feel like I'm walking through water sometimes, and then when I speed up, I can feel my life slipping away.
He's ready.
I'm running on fumes now, but I've got just enough gas left for this. Bon voyage, caveman. Shall we send Savage some company, Banshee?
You were right, Speedy. Nobody knows what I'm capable of. Why, thanks. Don't mind if I do.
I don't suppose you're coming back to the fold.
You suppose right, Deadhead. The neck is clear.
And I got the card. Membership does have its privileges, after all.
Oh, really? I didn't think you were a believer.
I'm not. The girl's gotta make some money. Thought I...
Mbappe really has got a turn of pace. He's showing here, look at this. From Mbappe, he's held back there. Hang on a minute, it's a penalty.
Chama câmera logo FIFA, baba. Ele chama câmera logo FIFA, baba. Yo. Yo, nithatha my chance. Nithatha my chance.
True champion.
Here's Alexander Pato, and it's 1-0. Just 24 seconds
Bro, kiss the ref.
I just get this feeling that I'm meant to be. I can't fight.
sit before half time.
That's good for us.
Keep Correa down before the ball came in.
Yeah, it stayed up.
Leon says the referee, oh, there could be a problem here.
Dortmund shaping to take the free kick. Whacks Declan Rice instead of the ball into his pocket. Oh, in fact.
Shot to the side of Jackson Reagan.
Under review, number 16, ready, red ball, fiber. Manchester referee, Perez took it and then was knocked over. Now Martinelli's found Coutinho on an easy one. Well, he's sent him off. Gabriel Martinelli.
العقلاء أن يتدخلوا بإيقاف هذا التوتر الكبير في الملعب بين لاعبي الفريق.
Well, down a two, she's gone down a hole in their base. It could be trouble for another two. I'm not too sure she made contact in the base, but it's all getting a bit spiky.
She wants them to be like the first time.
That's true. But sometimes you have to remember that's what that goes. So that's the guy that will be flexibility and some of that.
Oh, Meadows hustling outside the penalty area.
He's off as well.
There was a long ball forward that Traore was chasing. Matinho is straight up to Craig Pawson. And it burnt down at 6.
Well, he's drawn the screen and he's gone for his pocket. And Reece James, the Chelsea captain, is shown a straight red. Better and better. It's really not a red card. Penalty. Out to the court. The midfielder, Evan Sell.
Poljski pogodio igrača Rijeke u nastojanju da dođe do lopte. Herceg u bilježnicu suca Titlića. A Herceg je već bio u bilježnici suca Titlića, tako da drugi crveni karton.
Calling for it. Shows it's the penalty. Surely falls down. Has to be a Wolves penalty.
Oh, he just
Still have to be said something well.
Craig Pawson is deliberating, and it is a red card. Up the short steps now.
Strikes the ball, sends the keeper the wrong way, and Wolves are back on level terms.
Bravo's broken down. I think he touched him, didn't he? It's a red card. The referee thinks he did. City lost Ederson to a minor injury in half-time, and the man they've sent on, Claudio Bravo, has been sent off.
Yeah, and it was all City's fault. Yeah. Mason Mount, yeah. Well, what a disastrous second half this has been for Manchester City. Kyle Walker.
Wish what's the name of this guy? They would have put this guy as the goalkeeper. What the fuck?
Must have thought tonight. Oh, he saved it! Took him a couple of goals, but he got it.
Sione. Pronto. Per il portiere ha toccato 2 volte il pallone.
So
There's a dive. dive by Basuma was on a yellow card. And so Basuma has been sent off for 2 bookable offences, the second of them simulation.
Work to do here, and the referee says it's a free kick right on the edge of the area. And big.
Dakika Serkan Kırıntılı savunmanın arkasına gönderilen top biraz herkes yardımcı hakeme baktı, acaba olacak. Serkan o beyliyle müdahalede bulundu.
Liverpool are under intense pressure and they're down to 10. Virgil van Dijk sent off for denying the first goal.
Shut down. Back onto. Pressure has been holding up. Serious point of it.
Who's he giving a red card though?
Fender Bender in rush hour? Good thing you're naked and can submit claims in minutes on the Naked app. Get naked.
My finger slipped, y'all. Let's see what else we can watch, or should we just call it a day? The problem with Quicksilver.
I made a video a couple weeks ago on the problem with speedsters and it did really well. But in that video, I only briefly covered multiple speedsters, and so I figured I should go into more detail on some of the characters I talked about, starting with Quicksilver. We first see Quicksilver in X-Men Days of Future Past. In wasting little time, they show just how fast he really is by giving him a time in a bottle scene. And guys, once a speedster is shown to essentially freeze time, it's over. Going forward, they should not be able to lose to bullshit ways. You can't have some normal speed character take them out with a fucking freeze gun. Yes, CW Flash, I'm looking at your dumbass. This time in a bottle scene shows us a few things. Number one, he's fast. Really fast. He literally jogs around the whole room and still has plenty of time to move these bullets out of the way. Number two, he can think as fast as he can move, so his perception matches his speed. We see him literally stop and think. Like right here. He pulls the gun out of the guy's hand and takes a second to think about what he wants to do. He then makes the guy punch himself in the face. Not to mention he's able to navigate this room without just running into the wall. Super speed is in everything he does. He slows down time when he's not even fucking moving. Let me repeat that. He can slow down time when he's not even moving. So, if he's ever in a sticky situation or can't run or something of that nature, he can still slow down time just to think. And number three is his enhanced durability. This is pretty obvious. He's running ridiculously fast and not turning into melted butter. He's also running into water drops and other inanimate objects without them harming him. This shows his durability because water and any other objects hitting him when he's moving at that speed would be like a bullet. I was watching another video and they said water at 60,000 psi can cut through bulletproof glass and vests, and it's not doing shit to Quicksilver. So it's safe to say he has some form of enhanced durability. We then see him again when he saves everyone from the mansion in X-Men Apocalypse. And if you thought he was fast before, then this shows just how overpowered he really is. I don't know how fast this explosion was and how fast exactly that shrapnel was flying, but it's much faster than those bullets in the last clip, and yet he made them nearly completely stop when he wasn't running. From that video I mentioned earlier, that guy said Quicksilver had to be moving at about 8,000 times the speed of sound in this scene. He's literally just dicking around while everything is in slow motion. His perception and speed in this scene is insane. So, with what we know now, let's take a look at some fight scenes. First we have his fight with Apocalypse. It's obvious this guy has insane durability and regenerative healing because he's eating these punches like they're nothing, and he got his throat slit and it healed in an instant. But I just said how fast Quicksilver can run, and yet this dude was somehow able to see him running in slow motion. Do you even understand how fast Apocalypse would have to be thinking to perceive Quicksilver in slow motion? Quicksilver runs at about 8,000 times the speed of sound, so I would think Apocalypse would need some way to even know what the hell was going on, because this all happened within a nanosecond. And don't even say Apocalypse has super speed to justify this, because not once does he show that ability. Also, once Peter got his leg trapped and before he got his leg broke, why doesn't he stay in super speed? We've seen before that even when he's not running he can perceive time in slow motion, so he could have just kept time in slow motion, broke the dirt that has his leg, and got out of there. We see later that Beast was able to just punch the dirt to get Quicksilver out of there. And we've seen Quicksilver essentially has super strength when using super speed, because again, he has super speed in everything he does. Even if he's not running, he still has super speed. So just punch the dirt and get out of there. So in my opinion, no, Quicksilver should not have lost here. Next up is his fight against Jean Grey.
Shout out Champ, we should keep them subs up. So this guy just she just fucking removed the platforms anyway, child. Hey.
You serious?
Guys, remember, he's doing all this in like a nanosecond. People in the comments of my Spacer video actually said this is realistic because Jean Grey can think at super speed and she could sense Quicksilver was coming. Bro, what? First of all, this is never shown in these movies. You can't just take information from comics and apply it to this. It's not the same. Secondly, let's just say she can think at super speed. Whatever. How did she move her arm and the object at super speed? For her arm to move the object away like that, she'd have to be moving insanely fast. This dude outran shrapnel while goofing off. For her to match him like that, she herself would need to be a speedster. And guess what? Her having super speed is never shown throughout these movies, so that's not true. And how did this knock him out? Him running into those water drops would be like being shot, and they did not faze him at all. So him falling right here should be like nothing. He should smack the ground, go flying, and get right back up. So in my opinion, no, Quicksilver should not have lost here. Next up, we're going to talk about MCU Quicksilver. Now, MCU Quicksilver is considerably slower than the one from the X-Men movies, and he actually gets tired from running. He can also perceive time in slow motion, but it's not the same level as X-Men Quicksilver, but he's still fast nonetheless. First of all, I don't know if this guy's just an idiot or what, because he really doesn't do much other than kind of push people at super speed then run away. That's pretty much what he does in like all of his fights. Like, what the fuck is this? He loses right here by being flung by the hammer, which is pretty reasonable. Then when he tries to get up, Captain America hits him and puts him down. Again, fine, that's pretty reasonable, because in this movie he isn't shown to have super strength or super durability. And the reason he didn't perceive time in slow motion to dodge Captain America's shield is maybe he was still shaken up from Thor's hammer. Maybe he was still shaken up by the hammer, so he wasn't perceiving time in slow motion. How he gets shot right here is beyond me, because we saw previously that bullets are in slow motion to him. I feel like he would have been able to get out of the way before the bullet hit him, but whatever. Again, we'll let this one slide. Now, let's get to the main thing.
see that coming.
What?
Alright, so we've already seen previously that he sees bullets in slow motion, but these bullets were probably significantly faster. Either way though, I think he should have survived this. He clearly moves Hawkeye and then just decided to move back to the left of him. Do you get what I'm saying? He clearly grabbed Hawkeye, moved him away, and then just ran back to the left, because he's somehow separated from Hawkeye and on the left side of him. I felt like this death was kind of unnecessary and dumb. I would have liked to see how the movies after this would have played out with the help of Quicksilver, but I guess it's still possible to bring him back with all this multiverse shit going on. So, in summary, both Quicksilvers lost in bullshit ways. I'm not saying this should be invincible.
Overpowered for what? It's from Pennywise perspective. Okay, let's watch this one. It's interesting.
You are an ancient cosmic entity that predates the universe itself. You have eaten civilizations, and this summer, 7 12-year-olds from Derry are going to hand you the most embarrassing professional failure of your existence. This is it, but from Pennywise's perspective. 27 years, that's how long you've been down here in the dark, coiled beneath this miserable little town like something waiting to hatch. No screaming, no fear, no delicious trembling. Beautifully marinated terror, just pipes groaning and rats scuttling in the distant hum of people living their boring little lives directly above your head. But the system works. It has always worked. Sleep for a generation, let the ones who remember you die off, let a new crop of children grow up completely unaware, and then wake up hungry. The autumn rains come to Derry and the water rises in the gutters and the drains and the sewers. Your sewers. The network of pipes and tunnels that you've called home for centuries. You wake up and stretch, shaking off 27 years of nothing. It's time to go to work. You have a very specific job and you are very good at it. Come up from the dark, scare the shit out of everyone, eat the children, sink back down. The adults help with it more than they know. Bless their cowardly hearts. They always convince themselves the disappearing kids are runaways, accidents, someone else's problem. It's simple, elegant, and foolproof. That was the plan. October 1988, and it's raining. There's a paper boat floating down the gutter, and chasing it is a 6-year-old boy named Georgie Denbrough. His older brother Bill made that boat for him, waterproofed it with paraffin wax, and sent him outside to play while Bill stayed in bed with a cold. The boat floats right into the storm drain, right into your lap. You lean out of the drain in your full Pennywise getup. The orange pom-poms, the silver suit, the painted face, eyes that drift delightfully in different directions. You smile. It's quite a lot of smile. You give the kid the full treatment. The circus pitch, the popcorn, the cotton candy, the balloon, the friendly banter. The kid says he's not supposed to take things from strangers. It's adorable. So you introduce yourself. Problem solved. Georgie reaches into the drain for his boat, and you take his arm. You rip it off with your teeth and drag him in. It's a clean kill. It's professional. It's exactly how it's supposed to go. And that should have been the end of it. The family grieves. The town pretends nothing happened. You move on to the next one. That's how it's always worked. That's the system. But Georgie's brother Bill, well, Bill doesn't grieve and move on. Bill...
Alright, shout out chat.